battle broke out between police and anti-Vietnam demonstrators today in London outside the U.S. Embassy. This is Jay Hopper standing by with the full report on this and all the news from the KRAK Radio newsroom.
Final clearance. Final clearance. Final clearance. That's the call at Capital Chevrolet 13th and K. All executive cars and demonstrators are on the selling block and are priced to move immediately. You'll find a 1967 Malibu with radio, white walls, blue vinyl interior trim. This immaculate car is selling for just $25,95.95. There's immediate delivery at Capital Chevrolet, and they handle their own contracts. Capital Chevrolet, 13th and K, where you can hear the call of savings. Final clearance. Final clearance. Final clearance.
Expected violence between police and anti-American demonstrators broke out today outside the U.S. Embassy in London. The vanguard of 20,000 marchers protesting U.S. policies in Vietnam arrived in Grosvenor Square outside the embassy and immediately began a battle with 1,500 police waiting for them. An unidentified U.S. Embassy representative in Stockholm was robbed of his papers and pushed around today by Swedish anti-Vietnam students. Embassy spokesman said the incident occurred when the representative was called to a house-to-house speak for American servicemen who had decided not to seek Swedish asylum. Spokesman said the man had papers which the servicemen needed to return to their units in West Germany. Back Home Police magazine blames press in part for any riots this summer. Hoyt Wirtz reports for KRAK Radio News.
As Quinn Tam, the executive director of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, sees it, sensational journalists will have to accept a major share of the blame for any urban riots this year. In an editorial in the March issue of a magazine published by the association, Tam said, "The proliferation of articles in the last few weeks which place biased sensationalism above the welfare of the country are atrocious examples of irresponsible journalism."
The gold crisis is the topic at a meeting of international bankers today in Washington. Some announcement is expected this afternoon. Senator Robert Kennedy today expressed grave reservations about supporting President Johnson if he is renominated unless he changes what Kennedy called his catastrophic policies. Speaking on a broadcast interview, Kennedy said, and we quote, "If we are going to follow the same policies we are following at the moment, if President Johnson wins the nomination, I would have grave reservations." Meanwhile, Governor Nelson Rockefeller met this morning with 15 delegates of a draft Rockefeller committee trying to persuade him to enter the Oregon primary. Eugene McCarthy remains undaunted today in his bid for the Democratic presidential nomination. He promised last night to stay in the California primary. The University of California is observing its 100th birthday this week. The Greek community here in Sacramento will commemorate the 148th anniversary of Greek independence won over the Ottoman Empire during a special program to be presented March 30th in the Hellenic Center at Alhambra Boulevard. State Senator Nicholas Petris of Oakland will be the keynote speaker. The 50th anniversary of Mather Air Force Base will be celebrated with a 10-day series of events starting May the 8th. The base started as a pilot training center here in Sacramento, June 1918. A fourth lane for southbound traffic on the South Sacramento Freeway will be open to traffic this week, probably on Wednesday. It will provide one more channel for freeway traffic between about 5th Avenue and 12th Avenue. The Sacramento local office of the California Department of Employment tomorrow will begin notifying persons who are receiving federal unemployment insurance benefits, that is, former federal civilian employees and former members of the armed forces, that the U.S. Department of Labor has instructed the state to suspend payments of benefits temporarily until Congress authorizes additional funds. California state unemployment insurance benefit payments will not be affected. At the Tehachapi Correctional Institute, meal routine is getting back to normal as 350 inmates showed up for breakfast. Prisoners refused to eat Friday and Saturday, protesting small food portions. A federal court hearing is scheduled tomorrow in San Francisco for Owsley Stanley, reputedly a millionaire manufacturer of LSD. Stanley is expected to plead to a charge of illegally making the drug. He was arrested in January during a raid on an Orinda home. A one-time high school football star accused of slaying wealthy young Paul DiMartini of Piedmont has a date in an Oakland court tomorrow. The defendant, 19-year-old Frederick Harris, who was named to the All-City lineup in 1966, when he was a student at Oakland High School. A preliminary hearing is being held in Oakland on Tuesday for Black Panther leader Bobby Seale and his wife. They're accused of violating the firearms law. From the KRAK Radio Weather Wire for the upper Sacramento Valley, a chance of a few light showers in the northern end today, clearing tonight. High today 65 and a low tonight 35. Marysville and Yuba City, you have 51 degrees. For the upper San Joaquin Valley, partly cloudy today, mostly fair tonight and tomorrow. A high today 63 and a low tonight 32. Stockton and Modesto, you have 51 degrees. And for the lower Sacramento Valley, partly cloudy today, clearing tonight and fair tomorrow. A high today 60, a low tonight of 32. Sacramento, you have 51 degrees. That's the latest news from the KRAK Radio Newsroom.
The Giants on the move in Sacramento. KRAK Radio 1140.
KRAK, Sacramento.
We want you to hear our fast writer. Here at 1140 KRAK Radio.